going on, DJBooth.net? This is Kareem Julian, and I'm here in the lab to give you guys a full HD video review of the new Pioneer DDJ-WeGO digital DJ controller.
Every second, every minute, man, I swear that she can get it. Say if you a bad bitch, put your hands up high. Say if you a bad bitch, put your hands up high. Hands up high. Hands up high. Right now, me, I'm talking about go.
I recognize your fragrance. Hold up, you ain't never gotta say shit. And I know you hate this a little bit. High maintenance. Everybody else basic. You live life on an everyday basis. Poetic justice. Poetic justice.
If I told you that a flower bloomed
In the dark moon,
What you trusted, I mean I write poems in these songs.
dedicated to you win. You're in the mood for empathy. It's blood in my pen. Better yet with your friends and them. I really wanna know you off. I really wanna show you off. Fuck that, pop up plenty of champagne. Cold nights when you curse this name. You called up your girlfriends and y'all called in that little bitty range. I heard that she wanna go and far, wanna go and she wanna She wanna go and party. She wanna go and party. Nigga don't approach her with that Atari. You get it a good game, homies.
So here it is, everyone, the new Pioneer DDJ-WeGO digital DJ controller. And basically what we have here is a nice compact plastic chassis digital DJ controller that is meant for the entry-level or beginner style users who don't really want to break the bank when they are getting their feet wet within the digital DJ industry. So this basically allows you to plug in your USB to your computer, plug in some RCA cables to your speakers, and you're basically ready to play right out of the box. It comes bundled with virtual DJ LE. You can get it available in many different color schemes. There's 5 different color schemes available. As you can see, this is the white color. They're very nice looking and they're very small. This is about the size of a 15-inch laptop in length and width, the 15-inch widescreens, and you can probably throw this in most of your DJ bags or laptop bags or even a backpack when you're trying to take it with you on the go. So very nice small design, easy for people to get to and fro, and it's not really too cramped in terms of button layouts. You do have quite a few buttons, but it's not as cramped as some other DJ controllers that we've seen before. So in other words, this is really geared toward the beginner DJ, letting them get used to the features that DJs use today, and maybe possibly even mapping these buttons to do other more advanced features on possibly a different software than what it comes with, or on virtual DJ itself. So basically, first thing we're going to talk about is the setup. The setup is very easy. All you have to do is use the supplied software CD. Comes with Virtual DJ Limited Edition 7.0. I believe they'll let you upgrade to 8.0 when that comes out. You also get the drivers on the CD as well. So if you're using a Windows machine, you install your drivers first, then you install the software. If you're using a Mac, then you just install the software. Plug in your USB cable for power. This is USB powered, so you don't have a separate cable for your power. So this is all done by your computer. Then you plug in your RCA cables for the outputs, and you're ready to go. On the left side, you also have your on-off switch and your headphone 1/4-inch and 1/8-inch jacks, and on this side you have your microphone 1/4-inch input, as well as your RCA outputs on the right side. So you don't have anything on the back panel or anything on the front panel. Everything is done on the sides, and you don't have any additional inputs or any additional outputs. So what you see is what you get. That's one of my minor gripes with the unit. Sometimes it's nice to have a small aux input so that perhaps you can play from another type of device, perhaps a smartphone or iPod, or even maybe an external deck that you might have. But you won't be able to do that here. Most people who are going to buy this system is just going to be on a closed system. What you see is what you get. Okay, next up we'll just talk about the mixer function. In the middle here up first we have the crossfader. Everything is MIDI mappable on this controller, so if you're not satisfied with using it in Virtual DJ LE, you can map this to any other software of your choice, as it is a full out digital DJ controller that is MIDI mappable. As of the time of writing this and recording this video for the review, we did not have any additional mappings available on the Pioneer site, but since it comes bundled with Virtual DJ, the focus of this review will be with Virtual DJ. The skin on the actual video screen of Virtual DJ will look exactly like the DDJ-WeGO. So you get a really easy layout to what's on the screen. It looks exactly the same. So first up for the mixer, we have the crossfader. This is not usually what we see found on most Pioneer DJ controllers. The caps are a little bit smaller, but it is very, very accurate. You can cut the sound very quickly, and when set to the cut setting in the software, you do have a pretty low cut-in distance as well. So you can do most of your scratches from a crossfader point of view. You can change the crossfader curve settings to through, regular fade, or cut right there on your software screen, right above the fader it's located. And you have your line faders here that have more resistance to them, and they're a little bit longer in throw than the crossfader. Next up, you have your 5 LED meters here that let you know exactly where you're at in terms of volume in your mix. You have a Q button for each of your decks. You press the button, and then that's how you know what is in your monitor section as opposed to your master section. Next up, you have your low, mid, and high EQ knobs. The knobs are a little bit smaller and shorter than what's normally found on the Pioneer DJ controllers and mixers, but they have a rubberized coating to them. They all have a center click, and they feel really good, and they're all full kill as well. So you got some nice EQs here. Next up, you have your shift button, which doubles some of the different controls for your other buttons that you have here. Next up, you have your browse controls and load. You can browse up and down using this encoder that's also rubberized through your tracks, and you can press the button down in order to go to your folders, or press shift and press the button down to go back to your folders, and press the button when you select your folder to go back to your tracks. When you have this actual track selected or highlighted, then you load A to load into deck A or C, depending on what you have selected here. This is a 4-deck controller with a layering option. You press this button here to layer this to deck C from A to C, and you press the button over here to either bring this to deck B or deck D, depending on what layer you have. So you do have a 4 decks of controls here, and it's very easy to load either of the 4 decks using the browse controls up top. Next up to the left, you have your headphone volume control knob and mix knob. That way you know what you're mixing between your Q and your master, and you can set the volume controls for your headphones. Without this being powered by an actual wall socket and just for USB power, the power was more than adequate enough. The lighting was really bright, and we had good levels on your headphones and on your outputs as well at the same time. Next up, we have the microphone volume and master volume controls on the right side, and then that'll bring us to the decks. When we speak about the decks, we're talking about whatever's found on the left and right hand side. They're pretty much the same but mirrored, so that way you kind of know that your tempo sliders are always on the outside. Your tempo sliders are pretty nice. They have same resistance as the line faders. They're probably the same. And this has a center click, so you know when you're at absolute 0. You're allowed to change the pitch ranges from anywhere between 6% all the way up to 100%. There's a whole bunch in Virtual DJ LE, and they work really nicely. Very easy to ride the pitch. You have your sync and master buttons, so that way you can set one of these decks to your master and the other to sync. The sync was very good. We had good beat detection within the software, and we were never once thrown off by the sync feature. Next up, we have your hot cues and samplers. Each deck has 4 hot cues that are savable, and you can press the button here, and that doubles it as 4 sample banks. These come with the standard 4 sample banks. These 4 sample banks are shared upon all 4 decks. You're allowed to play them one shot or in a loop. Can't do much with the samples there in Virtual DJ LE, but it is actually a sampler there, and you can use it to turn on and off sounds, effects, and different one-shot things that you need at the time. Next up, we have your play, pause, and your Q button. When you press shift and Q, you'll return back to the beginning of the track. Next up, there is the jog wheel. Now the jog wheels here are touch sensitive. You can adjust the pressure sensitive, the touch sensitivity. When you turn the unit off, turn it on, hold Control A and FX, and then you'll be able to change the parameter of the touch sensitivity. Right out of the box, it was set to very low for me, so I had to set it to setting 3. That way I got a good scratch feel from it as well. You have a metal top here, and you have LED indicators that run on the top of the ring and on the sides of the ring. These show you different things like track loading. When a track loads from one to the other, you see it light up. Like if I load this track here, you'll see that this is lit up and let you know that you had a track loaded there. You also have the pulse effects. So if I turn an effect on, you'll see that the effect shows that it's an indicator that there's an effect there. And you also get a beat matching type of ring that lets you know when you're on or off beat for your corresponding track. So the jog wheels in practice, up top is a scratch, touch sensitive platter, and the mapping is pretty close to one-to-one, not quite one-to-one, pretty close, but as you can see, once you start doing very rigorous movements, the software really can't pick it up. So you have decent jog wheels here, decent enough for your regular, intermediate, baby, beginner type scratches, but nothing really more than that. But they do feel really good, and they ride the pitch very well, and you can use the side to actually nudge or slow down the pitch of the track in order to get it right on beat. Next up, you have one of my favorite sections of the DDJ-WeGO, which is the jog effects. You have about 9 effects that come with Virtual DJ LE. We can read them off to you. They are cut, delay, flanger, echo, doppler, reverb, noise bell, gates, gate, ring mod, roll, and DSP phaser. So you got a nice, good, healthy set of effects here. You can combine up to 3 effects to that one deck. And in order to change the wet-dry parameter of the effect, you either turn the jog wheel to your right or to your left after you have those effects selected. Control A is actually a key, so you can change the key of the track without changing the speed. And the Control B is actually a filter, so you get your high and low pass filter. Again, all those are controlled, the parameters, by the moving of the jog wheel. Very fun to use, very cool feature. So that's basically it for the Pioneer DDJ-WeGO. This is the newest compact and aimed for specifically for beginners, intermediate users, or someone who really wants a compact package to take it with them on the go. You have really nice jog wheels. You have a nice crossfader here that is cut worthy. You also have a good 3-band EQ. You have a full feature set, and it comes bundled with a pretty full-featured Virtual DJ LE as well. On the downside, there aren't many options when it comes to inputs and outputs. You don't have any extra booth options. You don't have any balanced XLR. But again, the beginner users are probably not going to need that anyway. And the other minor gripe with this was that there are no gain control knobs up top. The gain control knobs are where they should be within the software. But as you can see here, they did not put them. They put the load controls in their place. But I always like to have manual gain knobs just so I can control the volume perfectly with my own ears instead of letting the software do it for me. The software does a good job of auto gain, but I always like to have that final say-so and control. So for more on the full written review, you can head on over to www.djbooth.net/DJS. Keep following me on Twitter, and that's at DJBlaze_DJBooth. And keep on subscribing to the YouTube channel. That way you guys know when these videos, reviews, and news is coming out first and foremost. That username there is youtube.com/RealDJBlaze. Thanks for watching.